Welcome back to Retiring Today. I'm Molly Nelson here with Chawn Honkomp and Loren Merkle. Let's go back to recession-resistant portfolio, because if you're age 57 and you're watching, I've got to think you're wondering, do I have one of those? So let's talk about exactly what it is and some of the action steps that people can take to build a recession-resistant portfolio.
Yeah, having a recession-resistant portfolio really means is to make sure you have the information you need. You make sure you know the most about your total investment portfolio that you've ever known throughout those working years, to ensure that your portfolio doesn't experience too much volatility, doesn't blow up at the wrong time when you need it the most, which is when you're 57 and beyond. So make sure we take a look at it, and that's part of our process. Is, we talked before about that connection step when we're first meeting people. In part two of our process, which is what we call our strategize part, that's where we're able to have that much more detailed conversations, get that much more information out there. And part of what we do is we look at your current portfolio and we analyze it in a way that you probably haven't seen before. Most of the families we work with tell us that this is new information. This is a different viewpoint or snapshot of their portfolio. So we help you identify what is it today? What level of risk are you taking? But even more important than that, how does that translate to the markets? Meaning, how much exposure is your current portfolio taking? So if you have $1 million, and if we were to go through a recession or a correction in the markets, does that mean your $1 million could go down to 900,000 or maybe 600,000? That's the kind of information that you want to have at this stage of life, and that's what we help you find out and obtain in that part two in our strategy visit.
And another thing that you kind of unveil for people, Loren, is what they're paying in fees, and that can be an eye-opening experience.
When we talk about creating a recession-resistant portfolio, there's multiple components to that. One is understanding how much you are paying in your investment fees. In a lot of investment products, many of the fees that you pay, you cannot see. Even in that book, that prospectus that gets mailed or emailed to you, I know you read it
cover to cover.
Every single year you read it, it's going to show you fees, but that's not all the fees. And most of the fees are fees that you cannot see. We call them hidden fees. By decreasing those fees, you make the portfolio more efficient. So given the same amount of risk, you don't even have to change the risk in this example. Decrease your fees, increase your return. What that does to you is it increases your spendable income in retirement, which is absolutely imperative as you're trying to squeeze everything you can out of what you saved for retirement. So decreasing fees, increasing transparency, so you know how much risk you're taking, how much you're paying, optimize it, and that gives you the best overall retirement recession-resistant portfolio.
Recession-resistant.
I get it.
I was here just in case. Another piece of that too, this could be new for people, is that you look at money a little bit differently, as in spending, as in retirement income, and you look at the money you're going to need right now, the money you're going to need later, and the money you're going to need long term, and you invest each bucket of money a little bit differently based on needs.
There's so much overlap with the 6 components of our retirement planning process, and as we're sitting here talking about designing the portfolio, once we're age 57 and beyond, what you need to start thinking about also is designing the income plan. So there's an overlap with your investment planning decisions and your income planning decisions. So when you get to that stage of life where you're confident enough to say goodbye to the paycheck, now you have to develop that income plan out of all the benefits and the balances that you've accumulated. So now you've got to start thinking about what should you be doing with that portfolio. Maybe there's a portion of that portfolio that needs to be a little safer. So we often talk about that bucket strategy. We've got a short-term window, we've got the mid-term bucket, maybe the long-term bucket. So as you develop that income plan, you're going to want to make sure you have a certain amount of dollars in that short term that you know you don't want to take much risk, see that go down, maybe at all. So because you know you're going to spend that in the short term. And then that midterm bucket that maybe is a little longer out, or maybe you've got some specific goals, or kids' weddings that we've talked about. Maybe you need that, so we've got a certain amount of dollars in that midterm bucket. And then the long term is what we're used to, where we're okay taking more risk and having more volatility. So make those decisions, design that income plan as part of as part of designing your investment plan as well.
It's that income intentionality. Recently, an individual came to me. He was a do-it-yourselfer, right? He was very knowledgeable, very good, and what he told me is that putting money in all these years was easy. But now that I'm going to retire, I'm thinking about how to take it out, and that's a completely different animal, and that's what he was really looking for, is an intentional income plan that he had confidence in, because taking money out is way different than putting money in.